In a world.
What up, though?
How you been, man?
Hey, man, I can't call it. As we say in Detroit, I would be like, you got the best hand.
You got the best. I haven't heard that one. I like that.
Yeah, you got the best hand.
That's rad, bro. I like that.
Uh-huh. What's the deal?
I think we should give these people a quick little history lesson on In a World.
In a world. Yeah, in a world, pretty much, I think makes up the core of me.
Mm-hmm.
It goes back to the movie guy. Most people know his name is Don LaFontaine.
Yes.
And he pretty much set the course for most of our, I don't know, childhood, teen movie experience.
Movie, trailers, commercials.
In a world, on a planet far, far away,
where monkeys ruled everything.
Yeah, it's like
one man, one mission, La Bamba.
You know what I'm saying? I got a little clip of him. This is him.
Yeah.
Throughout history, man has marveled at the vast complexity of the universe. Without a single unified voice, humanity has been left searching for answers to the unknown. Now, one man has the power to change that and to spread his voice across the earth for all of mankind to hear. One man. Me.
I just always felt like that was the most badass job and the most badass voice you could possibly have.
For sure.
And it kind of seeped its way into my DNA.
A little bit,
because and this is true. So what happens is oftentimes we're doing a training or workshop,
mm-hmm.
and you would have to mic me up. Right. And you would mic me up, and you'd be like, test the mic. And it's impossible for me not to be like,
in a world.
Anytime I put a mic on you, I get an in a world.
That's it. And so then, well, you probably know this best, but then you would get around people and they'd be like, hey, where's your boy at? Where's your boy? And you'd be like, who? And they'd be like, yeah, In a World, the In a World guy.
Yep. I remember telling you that. You're like, no way. People know me as In a World. I'm like, they know you.
And so I think that is where we fit in with this podcast, because it's really In a World. You're going to get just about anything from us. It's not all corporate mumbo jumbo. It's not all just trivia. It's everything. It's In a World.
It is In a World. Yeah, I mean, that's the idea, right? Is like we have fun spitting knowledge. Maybe we can keep people from having some of the hiccups or hurdles that we've run into or couldn't jump over at the time. And we just want to improve people's lives, give people a smile, and have fun doing it.
Yeah, it to me, it's like you go on vacation or you go someplace and you meet some really good people for a short amount of time,
mm-hmm.
and you click and you're like, oh my God, those people we met at the campsite were amazing.
Yeah.
And it's like they're giving you this great advice. You've got a couple of things in common, and they're kind of, talking some common sense to you. That's what In a World is.
Yeah.
We're just some people, maybe we're having a beer, a burger, and we've hit it off, and we're 49ers fans, or we're Lions fans, or we're Mariners fans, and you guys are like, hey, yeah, this is absolutely awesome. Oh, that's how I view it.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. In a World, man. And it really, that kind of, I think, flows down into who we are, because we're super into pop culture. Just our age,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Pop culture, music, movies,
Yep.
comedies. So, I think what you're seeing is just two real people who happen to be in the workforce. And I think a piece of success that a lot of people miss is you got to try and have fun with it.
Got to.
Even nightmare stuff. You're like, oh my God, can you believe that? And my ability to laugh through it or sort of find a way to digest that jagged pill is what keeps me going.
Yep.
I don't know. Your thoughts?
As you would say, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
You'll go bonkers.
Totally. I got all the dogs barking over here.
I can't hear.
No, I know. It's fine.
Throw
Alexei, cut this out in the future.
In the future, a dog ruins a podcast.
Now it's got to stay in. Thanks, Chris. Thanks for
that. It is. It is. I love it. I could, the little heart rate goes up. You think the dogs are tripping?
No, I know. I think it's funny because I can hear you. Sometimes we'll be on a call and I can see your look of like, oh, Freddie. And I'm like, I can't hear Freddie, but this is funny.
Yeah. Freddie needs the taser. Oh, no, don't tase. I think pop culture also helps. Pop culture helps communication.
It's a knife that cuts through and relates to everybody.
Think about that game we play whenever we get a workshop, that game. Yeah. And what is it? Tell me what it does. Well, why don't you kind of lay it out for them? This is a little gift for you people sometimes because you're in some uncomfortable, we have to have dinner. You could be having dinner with doctors. You could be having dinners with lawyers. But a lot of times you're at that dinner table. It's like 10, 12 people and it's uncomfortable.
Yep.
And so you and I have sort of a couple games we play.
Yep.
Go ahead. I'll let you grab the steering wheel. Tell us about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't care who you are, whether this is personal, work. There's going to be some dinners that are important. You're going to have to go to them. Mm-hmm. And maybe you don't have anything in common. Maybe you don't know anything about these people. Maybe you want to know. There's some great icebreakers that you've picked up along the way and taught me that I think are amazing. Everybody, I don't care who, with very, very few exemptions, everybody loves movies in some way, shape, or form. So being able to sit around the room and kind of do a circle of, the dinner table or wherever you're at and be like, all right, guys, tell me your top movie of all time. And then talk about it, right? Mm-hmm. Explain why that's your top movie. Mm-hmm. And there's something magical about that, about learning what somebody's movie is. And so you kind of do it. You have like a 3-topic scenario. It's top movie. Almost everybody has a favorite movie.
We always start off with the scariest because it invokes so much emotion, right?
Oh, I guess I got the order wrong. Yeah, so we start with scary.
Yeah. No, that's fine. It all works, but the scary, I think, we've done it multiple ways, but the starting off with the scary, it really gets to people's emotions.
Yep. And it's not what's your favorite scary movie. It's what movie scared you the most.
And it doesn't have to be horror because a lot of people are like, well, I don't like horror. And it's like, I'm not asking you to. What movie scared you? It's not one of my top ones, but I'm going to tell you, I Am Legend really irks me.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's like you're out here. It's these zombies that's out here. You're Han Solo. You got your dog. And it's like they're closing in on you.
Yep.
Bro, that scares me. But if we want to really play the game, it was my all-time, and what's funny is about us Gen Xers, our parents / older people allowed us to watch way too much scary shit than we should have.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, it was the prequel to Christine. It was called The Car.
Yep.
And let me tell you, bro, this is like one of those old throwback Lincolns with the suicide doors. It's the devil in a car. It's like an old Arizona town where it's like the sheriff and the head mechanic are brothers. And this car is just riding around town killing everybody. It's jumping through trailer parks. It's jumping through your bay window. It's just killing.
Now's probably a good time. There might be some spoiler alerts in this episode. Just keep you posted for the nerds out there.
We ain't spoiling the car. Which is like 78. But let me tell you something. I couldn't walk past my bay window. And then it was like at the end of it, the brother, the two brothers running off the road, it blows up. And then there's the face of the devil. So I'm like, oh, goodness gracious. So when people hear that, they're like, yo, I've never heard of that movie. But then they can hear sort of fear in me. So that's my top one. The Car. So you guys go look that up. And I'm sure some listeners have heard of this one. How about you?
No, for sure.
How about you?
Mine is Event Horizon. Event Horizon was a great movie. Lawrence Fishburne, Sam Neill. Sam Neill's the guy from Jurassic Park or Hunt for Red October. Just some really good actors. It was really cool because it was the first sci-fi horror, right? Not sci-fi, like space horror movie. There hadn't really been a horror space movie. And those are like two of my favorite things. And I grew up, one of my best friends at the time, his uncle was a Hollywood special effects guy. And he had done all of the old, not all of them, but he was on a bunch of the old school, like Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th. And he was the special effects guys for a bunch of those movies. And so my introduction to scary movies was a lot different than most people's. It was like, oh yeah, look over here. You see that box? That's about to explode. And then it would go off. Or, oh yeah, that's a rubber mask that we had to do. But man, look how good that looks. And then you'd see this rubber mask. So it really kind of, he didn't mean to, but he was taking all of the scary out of it and just made it like a clinical conversation about the effects and stuff. And so scary movies they didn't scare me. I was just like, oh, this is cool. And oh, look at that. And it really defined a lot of how I looked at movies, especially, moving in, being a person who liked to take a lot of pictures and, fourth generation photographer. And it really made me look at movies in general different. Yeah. So the whole point of that is movies didn't really scare me until Event Horizon came along. That was the first movie that gave me like full body chills.
Yeah. What about it made the hair raise up on the back of your neck?
I think it was the idea, right, that this ship through advanced technology could go somewhere that man or the human race was never supposed to go, right?
An uncharted journey.
Exactly. And then it came back, and I was like, that was the first time where I was like, oh, I believe that that's possible.
Oh, yeah.
And, and it's like, all right, I don't, so the rest of the stuff, it was just so hokey. And this was just like, oh, that could happen.
Yeah. And so what you just found out right there was a little bit about who we were. Yeah. Right. And so then what starts happening is people like, oh my God, that scared the heck out of me. So before we move on to the other people, because what we'll do is we'll change. You basically now, then you kind of change the palette. You say, okay, what was your top funniest movie? And then people can keep going there. But I want to stick on this for a minute because to me, that creates a pattern. So what you just said, now that made me think like, you know what? The first Alien was not, puppy dogs and roses.
No.
The first Alien was scary.
Yeah.
Right? And then that kind of yetis off into, you remember The Thing?
Of course.
What did
John Carpenter's The Thing.
Bro, and it's just like, so you're in there with all of your colleagues, and it's like, you know what? I may have to pop you, bro, if that's you. If I test your blood and I put this heat on your blood and it jumps, you would think. So that kind of gets me. That's sort of the sci-fi realm, if you will.
Right.
How are you in terms of horror with the whole, what I'd like to say, Christianity or religion infused? How do you manage those? Because me, I'm going to tell you, I was raised Southern Baptist, you know, shouting, catching the Holy Ghost people. So church was always there. So when you start dipping into spirits and entities and stuff like that, it kind of bothers me.
Yep. For sure. I mean, I'm definitely a believer in the afterlife and ghosts and spirits. I definitely think there's something there. In fact, quick side story. I was probably 8 or 9 or 10. And I grew up in the middle of nowhere, little tiny town, Johnstown, Colorado. Population of like 5,000. Anyway, and I lived 5 miles outside of town, Farmville, farm country. And the nearest house was like a quarter mile away. So anyway, the houses were far apart, big farms. And I'm at my friend's house having a sleepover, and he had this like rad, like romper room downstairs. It was like one big monster couch and then we would play Nintendo and hang out. And
I think I've heard the story.
You have heard the story.
Yeah.
And we were watching movies, and only my friend's mom was home, and she was upstairs in her room, and she was just kind of like, all right, boys, have fun.
Have fun. I have everyone's keys.
Yep. And and so we're downstairs in sleeping bags. It's winter, and we're like, you know, in your kind of mummy bag, zipper all zipped up, and it's just me and Chris, and we're watching the movie, and we fall asleep. We pass out. And back in the day, old VC, you know, we still had static. When something was done, it would just be playing static.
Carol Ann.
And I wake up middle of the night, like, ugh. Like the wind's knocked out of me, and I'm like, what the heck? I was like, somebody just stepped on me. And I had to look around, and I'm like, what the hell is the TV's on static? And Chris is on the other side of the romper room in his sleeping bag, zipper zipped up. And I'm sitting there going, what is going on? And I like lift my shirt, and I actually see a red mark on my chest. And I freak out. I'm just like, what is going on? And so I wake up Chris, I think woke up because he's like, what are you doing? What's going on? What's going on? Doors closed. No, there's a chance that anybody physical in that house stepped on me. But something happened.
Yeah. Did you ever find out from the mom if the house was buried on a Indian burial ground?
No, they hadn't lived there super long, so she didn't know anything about the house. But to this day, I think you're exactly on something.
Yeah, somebody was like, "Get off of my land," and that, you know, to me, I didn't see The Exorcist until I was a grown man, and then, and I was just like, "Why? Why watch this? This is, like this is only just going to unnerve you. It's only going to invoke crazy emotions." But the one for me, and I didn't have any out of body experiences like you talked about, but for me, it was the poltergeist realm.
I was just going to bring that up.
Yes. Bro, poltergeist. So poltergeist alone, to write that, you're sick in the head. Okay. And that's the whole deal, is they built this subdivision on an Indian burial ground. And so to me, the movie alone was scary. Carol Ann, the whole deal made perfect sense. But then it was like the behind the scenes deal that they did there. Bro,
so trippy.
I think everybody is dead except the dude, Coach.
Yeah, Fox. Or Coach, not whatever his name is, the
Whatever
guy
it is.
who was on Coach.
Yeah. And there's a joke because like Family Guy and them, they always joke that he's like, kill me. Like, because it's like he's he's got survivor's remorse almost. You know what I mean?
Craig T. Nelson.
Craig T. Nelson. That's him. Well, you know, for folks that don't know, even though Poltergeist was, you know, critically acclaimed, it scared the hell out of you, they were having problems on the set. Like,
for sure.
Like, stuff was falling and they would have to retape, you know, they go back and look at film. So it got so bad that the director and the one guy who played the shaman there, he was a real shaman, the Indian, you know, Indian American gentleman.
Yep.
He so they asked him to go back and they're like, go to the stage so we can just chill everybody out. He goes there and he's like, yo, I checked it out. Everything's cool except these, you know, I'm getting some weird vibes off these dummies over here.
Yes.
And then he goes to the special effects people and he's like, what's up? Well, chill everybody out. What's up with these dummies? These fools are like, those aren't dummies. Those are real corpses.
It was cheaper to buy real corpses than to make fake ones.
Bro, and I'm telling you, it's like everybody died violently from that set.
4 people died during the taping of that movie. And then a bunch died afterwards, shortly after.
And then when they did the second one, I think a couple of people died on the helicopter. It was bonkers.
Yeah. And then, of course, the main character, the little girl, something O'Rourke. I don't remember her first name.
I think she was the last one that died. Did she die in a fire or something?
No, she died of congenital stenosis of the intestines.
Yeah. That sounds like a fun ride.
Oh, it does not.
No, jeez. So I think that plays into everybody's character, and I think no matter if you're an introvert, extrovert, everybody watches movies.
Yep.
So this is sort of a gift. This is really a gift for some of my introverts. Just throw that out. What movie scared the heck out of you? You're gonna hear all types of crazy stuff. You know, you're gonna some people are gonna be like Beetlejuice. You're gonna be like, what? How did that scare you? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Or it might be something like The Blind Side. And it's like, what about that movie was scary? It was like, well, I was really worried about losing my family to stress and it really messed me up. And so that movie brought all that trauma back. Who knows why a movie scares you? Who knows?
You know, or you could be like, it scared me because I'm a black man and I would wake up with a white family and they're putting raisins in the potato salad. That scared the hell out of me.
Please no raisins.
So, I mean, pop culture is everything, and I think you and I have kind of developed into this this space that we didn't used to have. So this whole, you know, the generational gap has created this space for what I like to call corporate bullying, right? And what I mean by that is we get in rooms and we can look at people and be like, oh yeah, Sanford and Son. Anybody know what that is? And you know they're not going to know it. And so it's like, in some ways, because millennials and Gen Z are so forward thinking and have their hands wrapped around technology, they're kind of know-it-alls, and you can't take it away from them because the world that they existed in. You know, I can ask my daughter something, she's like, it's this,
right?
How you do it? You know, it's not like I'm stupid, but I'm like, how do I make this post on Instagram like this? She's like, give me your phone. And I'm like, oh.
Duh.
But, you know, you ask them, have you seen Silence of the Lambs? And they're like, what? What's that?
Right. Yep.
So I think you can also use that as well.
For sure. In fact, it was funny because I had this happen back in the day. Because people would always want to call me Alexei or Alexia or something.
Tell us your full name. And
Oh God.
yeah, let's hear it.
I don't want to get flagged by the FBI. No, it's Alexa. Okay, first off, I'm the first American born of two Europeans. My mom was born and raised in Sweden, and my father was born and raised in the Netherlands.
So what would you call yourself? What are you? a
European.
Gnome? A gnome?
I'm a gnome. I'm a Viking. I'm a Viking garden gnome.
Okay, go ahead.
But yeah, so the full name is, oh gosh, Alexei Armand Johann Niklas van Ingen.
Bro, you sound like a world-class DJ. You're supposed to be DJing in Ibiza with that name.
Alexei van Ingen and Armin van Buren. We're like bros. We're like practically cousins.
Y'all homies. Y'all be texting.
Yeah. Actually, a funny cheesy story that has to do with my name. I think you know this one too. But so my father, when my parents were still together, he's like, my son is gonna be super important, and he's gonna have this important journey, and he's gonna walk amongst the stars. Right? Like that's what he said. And so he found the name of the very first person ever in history to walk in stars in space, who was Alexei Leonov, Russian cosmonaut. He was the first person to leave the pressure of a spacecraft and be outside in space.
You are named after the hero.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're named after
So yeah, a lot of people
Alexei.
are like, you a hockey player? You Russian? What's going on? I'm like, none of those.
You drink vodka? You drink vodka, well?
We drink vodka.
Vodka.
Und da.
Yeah, so the whole pop culture thing, man, it's endless ways to use it, right?
Yep.
It's endless ways to have because sometimes you don't even want to have conversations, but you can have it. It's pop culture. It's that. It's like.
Well, yeah. Back to what we were saying. So I would say Alexei, and they're like, how do you pronounce that? And so my thing back in the day, and that I can't do anymore because I lose people, is it's like, the Fonz, Happy Days, he would go, hey. And I was like, yeah, that's how you say my Alexei. And now I say the Fonz, and people are like, the who?
Bro.
What are you talking about?
That's crazy.
I'm like, Harry Winkler, the Fonz?
Yeah, I used to say that because people were like, Sanford? I'd be like, yeah, like Sanford and Son. They'd be like, oh, I love that show. Are you
right.
Do you have a brother, Lamont? Well, like, so it's, and I think it's important for us as Gen Xers, to stay on the cutting edge. You need to know what millennials and Gen Zs are doing. That's a whole nother discussion. But I think as you create things, as you try and create work fun and different things like that, or just make connections with people, movies, pop culture, TV, it's an easy route. I can remember being in a wild hospital in Atlanta. It's called Grady. And oh man, this is a classic in-city hospital. This is one of those grimy hospitals where people feel like they have they've earned their stripes if they've been born in there, right? In Atlanta, they're like, I'm a Grady baby. So that's just saying, like, bro, you were almost born in a psychotic psych ward of a prison. You know what I mean? Like, and no disrespect to my Grady people, they know it's real. I'm from the D. We've got some hospitals receiving in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? You only go to receiving if you've been shot in front of it.
Well, I was born in a hospital best known for being a mental hospital, Bellevue Hospital.
Oh.
I wasn't born in the mental ward, but I was born in that hospital, so I get it.
Exactly. And you're still in that hospital. Did you know that?
I'm still in there.
You're still there.
This is all the Matrix.
This is all. You're like, bro, that's actually... You're in a minimum security prison.
Right.
But yeah, Grady, it was so funny because it's this super hood hospital. You go in there, and I've been in tons of VA hospitals. I've seen the best of the best. I've seen the worst, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that's what hospitals are there for. You've got mental patients. You've got people who've had legs blown off. You got all of that. So you have to have empathy going in, but you also know where you at, right?
Right.
There's some very good ones and some very bad ones. It's no different than a grocery store. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But long story short, I'm in there, and I can remember talking to a coworker. We're getting on the elevator, and I had just started watching Game of Thrones. And this woman's on there, and this, and Grady just, I don't know, she looked like a tough administrator, a tough, older black woman administrator. She's on there. She's kind of mean mugging us because we're looking like sales reps and all of this stuff. And so the person I'm talking to, I'm like, oh my God. I was like, I'm watching Game of Thrones, and I was like, Joffrey. What a little asshole. And this woman was like, you
watch Game of Thrones?
She was just like, you watch. The door opened. She was like, baby, let me just tell you, you just wait. It's going to get crazy. And it was like, we connected. Boom. Off of Game of Thrones in a dusty elevator in Grady Hospital in Atlanta.
Sometimes that's all it takes.
Right? And before that, I was like, oh, she mean.
Yeah. I am not going to get along with this woman. She's not going to like me.
It's like, ooh, honey, Joffrey, wait. You just wait. And I had no idea.
You and I are pretty good at finding a way to get almost anybody to get along with us.
Why do you think that is?
Because we can relate to almost anybody.
Yeah. Yep. And we try. Part of it is just trying. Because a lot of people be like, I ain't going. He got that big old beard. He tall. I ain't talking to him. I ain't talking to him. I ain't doing that. And then they come to find out, you've put they wouldn't know, bro. You've put together one of the best hip hop playlists that I've seen.
Yeah.
I was like thoroughly impressed. I mean, I'm rarely shocked, but I was shocked.
Yeah, it was one of my favorite Kris moments ever.
Oh my God! I was like, "Dog, you got Wu-Tang in here? You got some pride?" Like, bro, I was like, "Bro, did you contact my wife and ask her this?"
You did. You literally asked me that question.
That was
just such a vibe too. We were chilling. We were driving from Santa Cruz, Mustang with the top down.
Oh man, what a day!
That was a day, bro.
Yeah. So being able, I just think it's important not to have any barriers around you. You know what I'm saying? You don't listen to all rap music. You listen to music. No. You know what I mean?
listen to everything, yeah.
And I just found out you really a closet country dude. And
I knew you were going to throw me under the bus like that.
You tried to hide that shit. I said something wrong. You were like, no, what did I say? You're like, no, he's dad. This is Zach Bryan. And I was like,
yeah.
What? Whoa. You exposed yourself. You know how to.
I'm not proud of it. When I was in the Navy, I was in the meteorology office, and we were only about 8 or 10 people crew. But there was a tradition that we would, anytime you would go on a cruise, like a med cruise or, like a couple, like 6-month deployment, you would get a new radio. And so everybody would chip in and we'd get like a boombox together. And so we got boombox and, everybody got to take a chance or turn playing their CDs or whatever music they wanted to play. Mm-hmm. And it was like me, 2 brothers, and a bunch of rednecks. And I say that compassionately with love. With love. But so it was kind of like, all right, I'm going to either have to like country music a lot because I'm going to be listening to it 80% of the time, or I'm going to go crazy in this bitch. Mm-hmm. And so that was back in the day of like Alan Jackson and Garth Brooks and, George Strait. And so that, Brooks and Dunn, that was like, okay. I kind of fell in love with country music a little bit back then.
Bro, country music is very close to rap. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. In fact, Dak Shepard just had a really interesting podcast the other day where he was talking about like those are the great equalizers because it's talking about real things and real history and it's that they're the genres that people will easily poo-poo on, like, oh, I don't like that rapper. Oh, I don't like that country. When actually they're like at its core, they're the real storytellers.
Yeah, my truck broke down. I seen my girl dancing with another dude. You know what I'm saying? And my dog ran away. So that happens to everybody.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I messes with country. My grandfather loved country, and then I was like, "You like country?" He was like, "Boy, country." He got into how country kind of, has its claws everywhere. It's a little bit of blues. It's you know what I'm saying? It's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So I like it. Country. Same. Yeah, man. You pop culture, bro. Pop culture, I think, is where it's at. And that's really, if you summed us up, that's what you're getting. You're getting just some real dudes talking about life. And for the most part, I'm trying to infuse that into what I do every day. I'm trying to find a way to make a movie reference or use a movie reference, because I think that's one of the best ways to motivate people is to, if you're trying to deliver a concept or an idea, is find something else, whether it's humorous. How many times have we used that Lundberg?
Oh gosh, all the time.
GPS reports. You know what I'm saying? People
in our last podcast we used it.
People love it. They love it, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that'd be great."
And I still have not found my red swing line stapler, and I have not been paid in 3 months.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to come in on Saturday.
Yeah. Gonna need you to go ahead.
I kind of look at this. We're like Johnny Appleseed. We're just sowing inspiration and sparks of fun, of connection, and I mean, that's kind of part of our magic, right? Is it's like we can go into a room, and maybe there's some trauma, maybe there's some gaps, maybe there's some lull, and we'll make a party out of something.
And I think that's the rule for life. You know, you have to try and find. Look, we're going to see bad stuff all the time. You know, there's going to be layoffs. There's going to be deaths in your families. There's going to be separations. But, you know, how do you brush yourself off and pick yourself up? And keep going. And I think, to me, it's through humor.
Sure.
You know, I've made jokes carrying a casket, and people were like, "That's hilarious." You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's giving us it's like a deep breath. Yeah. You know, so in work, it doesn't have to be DEF CON whatever every time. How does that work?
No.
Wait, does DEF CON, is it the lower, the more egregious, or the higher? Like, higher. So DEF CON 4 is worse than 1.
Imminent disaster.
Oh, okay. How many DEF CONs is it?
I thought there were 4, but there might be 5.
DEF CON 7.
Yeah, there are 5.
There's 5. And so what's the titles of each?
Oh, you know what? I was wrong.
Mm-hmm. What is it?
So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was wrong. I'm glad that we looked this up. So DEF CON 5 is like nothing.
DEF CON 5 is where we were in like 82.
Yeah. I don't know about that. In 82, the Cold War was pretty huge. That was pretty bad.
We might have been 3. We might have been 3.
3 or 4. I don't think we've been at DEF CON 5 ever. No, I don't know.
Yeah, but, exactly. Well, DEF CON 5 was like when they invented it. Like, this used to be where we were. We're hovering around.
Maybe in like the 30s or something.
Yeah. So one is crazy then.
1 is called Cocked Pistol. Nuclear war is imminent. or has already begun. DEFCON 1, the walls are about to melt down.
Jesus.
You about to turn into vaporized dust.
Speaking of that, let's go back. What was that movie? The Day After Tomorrow? No.
Yes.
Back in the 80s? No, what was the one, the nuclear war one? That they put on regular...
War games?
No. It was like... It was a TV show, and people are going to be like, it was called this. Everybody calls me after, like, you missed it.
I know.
It was a show in, like, 1980s, and it was about the nuclear holocaust.
I honestly cannot remember what you're talking about.
And it came on regular TV. You don't remember that one?
I don't. I'm getting to the Google.
What was that?
It was a TV show?
It was yeah, bro. What are we doing? The Day After. That's what it was called.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever saw that.
Bro, this came on in 1983, and I woke up the next day like, we're all going to die. Bro, that scared the hell out of me. I don't know why they did that. That was some serious propaganda. You remember it now? The Day After?
I do. I mean, I never saw it, but I do remember. I remember it. I still need to watch it.
Oh, somebody's got homework.
Right? But I'll actually do the homework, unlike some of our friends.
Oh, bro. This one, and this was when they had us, like, oh, go get under the desk. It's like, what are you going to do under the desk in a nuclear bomb hits you?
Well, yeah, no, it was like...
somebody will find you under that desk in 100 years looking at it like Pompeii.
Right? Same thing, like, what was that, 5 or 6 years ago? When, remember that that nuclear alert message that went out to people in Hawaii?
Bro!
My best friend was in Hawaii, and he got the alert on his phone that was like, nuclear strike incoming. And he called his wife. She didn't answer. And he called me. And I'll never forget. Like, I'm like, bro, this has to be a joke, right? And he's just like, God, I hope so. But if not, man, I love you. And I was just like, whoa. I remember, I get chills just remembering it. But yeah, so I'm sure that's kind of how you felt watching that show, right? Like,
it would have been great if he thought he was out. He was just been like, dude, I've always had a thing for you. and then it doesn't happen, and then it's all awkward now. Awkward. I've always had you've always had a special place in my heart, brother.
Why did we never get together?
I mean, like more than friends. He's like, what? Billy, I love you. Now he's here. You've got to deal with that.
Right?
Oh, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Great conversation, bro. I really
they always are.
I really like talking a little pop culture with you, and we help everybody to understand where you kind of get in a world where we're coming from and where we want to go.
All right, this or that.
Yes, this or that. This or that.
You could go with this, or you could go with the pancakes or waffles.
Ugh, bro. Neither.
Wow, scandalous.
Too heavy. I'm just like, I don't know. Pancakes and waffles always just seem like so heavy for breakfast. And I know you completely differ. But it just seems like you're just going to be so stuffed. I've never been a pancake or waffle guy. And then they started with the chicken and waffles, which I just think is insane. Who
but
wants
tasty.
to eat it? No doubt. I've actually been to the original Roscoe's chicken and waffles.
Roscoe's.
Yeah.
You've not been to that same Roscoe's. Not at the same time.
Fun fact, I met Little Richard in there.
That's what you, that's right.
Yeah. That was the first time I had a beer with breakfast. I was like, I like it. But yeah, but if I had to, I would say it's nice. And I've been traveling with you when people have got, the fresh waffle maker.
Yes.
So I would probably say waffle, just because I feel like you can get it hot off the press versus pancake.
Yeah, there's something about like a Belgian waffle where it's got that really crispy outside, but still really chewy and kind of pillowy on the inside. With my favorite is with like some fresh fruit and whipped cream.
I've seen you do that, and I've looked at
I know you have.
Like, dog, are you eating all of that?
Well, I eat it just fine.
In the morning. People be like, sir, are you done? You be like, no. I'm not done. I'm still eating.
I'm a big boy, dude. Watch out. 6'6", about 250. Watch out.
What? Ow. Well, hey, listen, folks. We appreciate you. Pass this on. Hit that like button. Send us a note. You know what I'm saying? So we appreciate you. And I appreciate you, sir.
Oh, I appreciate you more.
Peace.
Peace.